Alright guys, welcome back to Tempe Creek, where we talk about our vineyard, winery, and small farm operations. We're just a small guy out here trying to make it. I think that one's better. Anyways guys, today we're going to go ahead and talk about first steps to getting your journey started in homesteading or winemaking or vineyard viticulture. There we go, viticulture. Before we get started, do all those YouTube things, clicky click, thumbs up, all those things, and let's get started. All right guys, so the very first thing honestly is going to sound very simple, but what I would recommend you guys doing is just biting the bullet and buying some land. I know that's like, I sound like some land baron being like, oh, just go buy some land, it's so easy, and obviously that's not the case, especially for everybody. It's just like where you are in your current situation. But what I mean is that, like, when you go to purchase your land, you're gonna feel overextended. I know we did. It was a brand new purchase. We had a lot of our resources going to this new property, and so it felt very wondrous. It was like very scary to be experiencing that, but I liken it to having a baby, right? Are we ever truly ready to have a baby? Are we ever truly ready for those extra expenses? No, but once you have it, once you've made the commitment, once the child is there, once the land is yours, you're in it. You know, you gotta do it and just try your best, and there's nothing else you can do, right? And so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, kind of recommend in this video, is that, like, if you have some purchasing power, if you're able to do something, now's the time to do it, not tomorrow. Land doesn't get cheaper. I mean, realistically, unless there's some like unforeseen event that happens in that land or near that land, that's like catastrophic, land does not get cheaper. So the sooner you commit to an area, the sooner you can get started. And there's a lot of bonuses to just buying before you're ready, kind of like grabbing onto something, especially I'm gonna go take it from the perspective of our experience and like what we were doing. We had always planned to do a vineyard and winery. Once we bought the land, it was just a horse pasture. We've done everything on this property, we've done it. Obviously it was more than just us. It was my wife, me, my father-in-law, who's a super great handyman. Other friends and families come up on weekends to help us plant, help us do put in septic systems, all those things. You know, it was more than just us. But the thing that I want to really emphasize, so that's the perspective, but the thing I want to emphasize is you can't do anything until you have your land. Once we bought this property, like I said, it was just a horse pasture, but there was a ton of cleanup that we needed to do. We probably spent 8 months to a year cleaning up various things. There was like a trailer here for a while that, like, I mean, the guy we sold it to actually was able to get it working, but he worked on it for like 2 days, getting the axle starting to move in again and all that sort of stuff. We had like random refrigerators, bunch of random stuff that was just left here and dumped, and so like it took a year of cleanup. So it wasn't like we got the land and now it's ready. It was like we got the land, we did cleanup. During that time, we started doing our application to start the winery. That application process for us, because we did it ourselves, we kind of bumbled our way through it. We kept asking questions, what forms do we need, all those things. It took us 2 years to do it by ourselves, and we had a lot of hiccups along the way, but we bought the land. We were cleaning up. We were trying to get our permit rolling during that time. And then we started planting the vines, all that sort of stuff. All that stuff that we were doing at the very beginning, because we had already exhausted a lot of our funds, was free, essentially. It was just hard work, right? And so that's basically kind of why I'm telling you guys, like, buy it sooner rather than later. Land isn't going to get cheaper. 1, 2, there's a lot of work that you're gonna need to do before you even get started on the things that you want to do. There's no land is perfect, no land is pristine, unless you have unlimited money, which I know I don't. You have to put work before you can actually even lay infrastructure if you don't have it, or any of the other things. that you want in order to realize your vision for your piece of property and your little slice of heaven and whatever you're going to do with it. Another advantage, or another reason why I want you guys to, if you're going to do this, just like go jump in, is because once you have your piece of property, you're going to realize things that you can and can't do on your property, or how you're going to do it, and like how you're going to lay it out. Before that, I was just kind of thinking, oh, I want to do this, I want to have cows, I want to have chickens. But once you have your actual land, your piece of property, you start realizing what you can and can't do. It's going to be a lot of trial and error along the way, but the faster you're able to do that, the more you're going to be able to realize your vision more quickly on whatever your ultimate goal may be. Maybe it's like an RV park, maybe you just want to be off by yourself. If you just want to be off by yourself and you're not really trying to live off of your land and in terms of like monetize it and like really try to just like create an experience, then obviously you can take your time. But for us, when we started this project, I mean, like I said, we extended ourselves and we wanted to start bringing in money as quickly as possible. So we started thinking like, oh, what can we do? We can rent out this, do that. And we're still constantly doing it. And now that we actually are able to sell stuff here, it takes a little bit of the burden off. But I mean, now we have a lot of more time commitments. Now we have tasting room stuff, so there's a lot of things that kind of come along the way. And you're not gonna really know that until you like go and you kind of finalize, okay, this is my property, this is what I'm stuck with, let's see what I can and can't do, let's see what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do on your piece of property. And then once you have it, that's when things get a little more. Their advantage, guys, is that even let's say you buy the property and you're not able to hold on to it, you had enough to buy it and you're able to like do stuff, but after a couple years you decide, oh man, it's not for me, or I can't do it right now, I need to go back to the drawing board. Like I said before, land really doesn't go down. Our land value, they're trying to say that it's like 3x since we bought it 5 years ago, and we've done a ton of improvements. And if we were going to sell it, we've made a lot of improvements, and so the cost of a sell, or when we would sell it, it would still be worth it for us, even if we didn't get our dream to its final point. We still like came out ahead. We had the experience, but financially, even like cold hard cash, when we go to sell this place, it would be worth it. But obviously, it was like we put a ton of sweat and tears into this place. Basically, extra 40 hours a week go into this place off for both of us. So it's not like it happened. It's not like it magically happened. But if we ever have to sell it, or when we decide to sell it, or any of those things, we're still gonna profit off of it. For the last thing I want to kind of tell you guys, when you're deciding on what to choose, some pitfalls that happen, and I want to warn you guys, because when you go out and you're like, oh, I want this and that on the piece of property, there's some things to look out for. So one of the big, I think, pitfalls, especially if you're not going to have like a massive piece of land, let's say you're just doing a couple acres, or even like 3 to 5 acres, which by the way, that's what I suggest for like something like what we're doing. You guys have been, those of you who've been with the channel for a while, know about the different ventures we have and how we have the property laid out and all that sort of thing. But I would say about 3 to 5 acres to do something similar that we're doing. But as the land has to be usable, and what I mean by that is your first pitfall is I would recommend not having any water features on your property. Water features seem super nice and they are kind of cool, but essentially what happens is that all that water area is lost land. If it floods in that area, that you cannot develop it at all. Our property, we have like 23 acres, like 12 of it is floodplain, so we can't do anything with 12 of it. It happens to be that's where we put the pasture for the cows. But if we weren't going to do that, then what is it? It's just like, so that's something to consider. So make sure, I would I would be hesitant to buy again with water features if I was trying to be really efficient. If I had a lot of money, then it wouldn't matter. The second thing is, the flatter the land, the better. Honestly, we're kind of hilly here. We're on a downward slope, and when we build stuff, it gets into a little like hassle trying to level stuff out. The ground's not even. But the more level something is, the easier it is going to be to build on it, and the more usable the entire property will be. So that's my like 2 pieces of advice for you guys. If once you're looking, I would double think or rethink water features and try to get it as level property as possible, and then just kind of go from there, guys. Like I said before, I know it sounds like a little maybe pie in the sky for some of you guys, but just let me know. I want to know what you guys think. Am I being too pie in the sky for everybody? Or if you have any questions about the layout or anything like that, just let me know, guys. Obviously, I always pretty good about answering back whenever you guys message and comment in the videos. So that's all I have for you guys. As always, thank you and God bless.